Imagine this, a pregnant woman 7 months along, bleeding in a cold hospital hallway. Her husband ignores her calls, but then, out of nowhere, her billionaire ex-boyfriend walks in and pays the bill that could save her baby's life. What happens next will break your heart and maybe, just maybe, restore your faith in love, redemption, and second chances. This isn't just a story about betrayal. It's about strength, survival, and a woman who discovers her true worth when everything falls apart. Stay with me till the end, because the twist in this story will leave you speechless. If you love emotional storytelling with powerful lessons about love and courage, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next story that might just change how you see life and love. The heart monitor beeped. Rapid, erratic, then steady. Please, Derek. Please, Faye. Claire Brennan's voice cracked like glass breaking in slow motion. The hospital corridor smelled like bleach and fear and something else, something metallic that made her stomach turn. Her hand pressed against the glass window. Inside that room, machines surrounded her body. Another her, the her from 3 hours ago, the her who'd been standing in aisle 7 of the grocery store when her water broke. Ma'am, you need to sit down. The nurse's hand touched her shoulder, gentle but firm, the way you touch someone who might fall. But Claire couldn't sit, couldn't breathe, couldn't think past the number on the paper clutched in her left hand. The paper was damp now. Sweat or tears. She didn't know anymore. $87,000 for the emergency surgery, for the baby, for the bleeding that wouldn't stop, for the life she'd created inside her body for 7 months, for the tiny heart that beat separate from her own but still completely hers. Derek! She turned. Her husband stood 15 feet away, phone pressed to his ear like it was surgically attached, not looking at her, not looking at the window where his child fought for life, not looking at anything except the floor tiles. I said I'm busy, Claire. He didn't lower the phone, didn't even glance her direction. Claire's thumb moved. Unlock phone. Check bank account. Lock phone. $37.42. Unlock. Check again. Still $37.42. Lock. The numbers didn't change no matter how many times she looked. Math didn't care about desperation. Her water had broken at the grocery store. Aisle 7, between the cereal and the coffee. She'd been reaching for the decaf when she felt the gush. Warm, wet, wrong, too early, way too early. 7 months pregnant. Not 9, 7. She'd called Derek first, before 911, before anyone, because that's what wives do. Call their husbands, trust their partners, believe they'll show up. He'd said he was coming. That was 4 hours ago. Mrs. Walsh, a woman in blue scrubs, approached. Her name tag said Jennifer. Her face said bad news. We need payment authorization before we can proceed with the second transfusion. My husband, Claire pointed at Derek's back. He was walking away now, turning the corner, disappearing like smoke. Gone. The word echoed in Claire's head. Gone. Like the nursery they'd painted yellow last month. Like the name they'd chosen together. Olivia Grace. Like the future she'd imagined while folding tiny onesies and reading pregnancy books. Like everything. The fluorescent lights hummed. Too bright, too cold. Claire's hospital gown stuck to her back. Sweat or blood. She didn't know anymore. The antiseptic smell mixed with something metallic. Something wrong. Something that said emergency and crisis and time running out. Ma'am, without payment. I know. Claire's voice came out flat. Dead, empty of everything except truth. I know what happens without payment. I'm losing my baby because my husband won't answer his phone. That's my life now. That's who I married. That's the choice I made 3 years ago when I said yes to a man who says yes to everyone except me. Claire sank into the plastic chair against the wall. The same kind of chair she'd sat in 3 years ago. Different hospital, different emergency. Derek's car accident. Minor, a fender bender on the interstate. But his insurance had lapsed. He'd forgotten to pay the bill. Again, she'd paid that bill, emptied her savings, $22,000. Every penny she'd saved from her marketing director salary. Gone in one afternoon. I'll pay you back, baby, Derek had said, his brown eyes sincere, his hand holding hers, his voice full of promises. I promise. As soon as I get my bonus, I promise. He never did. The bonus came, then went. On what, Claire never knew. She'd stopped asking, stopped expecting, stopped hoping. She'd married him anyway. 6 months after the accident, small wedding. Justice of the peace, City Hall. Derek said they needed to save money, build their future, be responsible adults. But there was always a reason money disappeared. Always a need. Always something more important than paying her back. New golf clubs, guys' weekend in Vegas, season tickets to the Mets, conference in Miami. Always something. I'm not crazy, Claire whispered to the empty chair beside her, the chair where a husband should sit, where a partner should wait, where someone who loved her should be. I know what I've been ignoring. Her phone buzzed. Text message. Derek. Derek. Can't talk now. Handle it. 3 words. For their dying child. 3 words. Handle it. Like she was asking him to pick up milk. Like their daughter's life was an inconvenience. Like Claire was the problem for bothering him. Her hand shook. The phone nearly slipped from her grip. She caught it, held it, stared at those 3 words until they blurred. Handle it. Handle watching our daughter die because we can't afford to save her. Handle the fact that you promised to be here 4 hours ago. Handle the crushing reality that I married a man who cares more about his phone call than his family. Dr. Margaret Sutherland appeared, 52 years old, gray hair pulled back, surgical mask hanging around her neck. Her face said everything her mouth didn't need to. Claire, we need to make a decision, now. How long do I have? Minutes, not hours. The placental abruption is worsening. Your daughter. The doctor's voice softened, gentled, the way doctors do when delivering impossible news. She's in distress. Daughter, they'd found out last week, 29 weeks along. The ultrasound technician had smiled, said congratulations, asked if they wanted to know. Derek had shrugged, said he wanted a boy, said girls were expensive, said he'd hoped for a son. Claire had cried in the bathroom after. Happy tears because she had always wanted a daughter. Sad tears because her husband didn't. Confused tears because she didn't know how to feel anymore about anything. Now just scared tears. Terror so profound it erased everything else. What are my options without payment? Dr. Sutherland looked away, at the wall, at the floor, at anything except Claire's eyes. We stabilize, we wait, we hope. And with payment, we operate. We save her. We save you. The choice wasn't a choice. It was survival versus death, future versus nothing, hope versus ending. Claire's hand moved to her phone, not to call Derek. She knew better now. 4 hours had taught her what 3 years of marriage should have. Her finger hovered over a number she'd kept for 8 years, a number she swore she'd never call, a number she'd deleted and restored 17 times. James Holloway, Jay, the man she'd loved before Derek, the man she'd left because he worked too much, because he prioritized his startup over their relationship, because she'd wanted a partner who was present, who showed up, who chose her. The irony tasted bitter. Jay had become everything, built a tech empire, made Forbes 30 under 30, then 40 under 40, now worth billions according to the business magazines she pretended not to read, while Claire had become nothing. Given up her career when Derek said one income was enough, became a housewife at 27, planned a baby because Derek said he wanted kids, believed him when he said things would get better. Things never got better. They just got familiar. Comfortable in their misery, normal in their dysfunction. Her thumb pressed dial. The phone rang once. Claire? His voice hit her like a wave, deeper than she remembered, steadier, stronger, but still his. Still the voice that used to whisper good morning against her neck. Still the voice that used to laugh at her terrible jokes. Still Jay. Jay, Her voice broke, shattered, became pieces. I need help. Silence, not empty silence, full silence. The kind that holds 1,000 questions. Why are you calling after 8 years? Why now? Why me? Where are you? St. Catherine's Hospital. Emergency wing, She couldn't say it. Couldn't make it real. If she said the words out loud, they became true. I'm pregnant. There's a problem. I don't have, I'm 10 minutes away. Don't move. The line went dead. He's coming. After 8 years of silence. After I chose Derek over him. After I told him he'd never amount to anything because he cared more about code than connection. After I broke his heart and walked away. He's coming. Claire pressed her forehead against the wall. Cool tile, solid, real. The only thing that felt solid anymore. 10 minutes. She had 10 minutes to figure out what to say to the man she'd loved first. The man she'd left. The man who'd become everything she'd told him he'd never be. 10 minutes to explain why her husband wasn't here. Why she had no money. Why she was begging her ex-boyfriend to save her child. 10 minutes to face the biggest mistake of her life. The fluorescent lights hummed. The heart monitor beeped. Time passed in measurements of desperation. And somewhere in this hospital, her daughter fought for life while her husband ignored phone calls and her ex-boyfriend drove through traffic to save them both. This is my life now, Claire thought. This is what I chose. This is what happens when you settle for presence over passion, for comfort over connection, for promises over proof. This is what happens when you marry the wrong man. The elevator dinged. Claire's head snapped up. Her heart hammered against her ribs. Fast. Too fast. Matching the erratic beeping of her daughter's heart monitor. Somewhere in that surgical suite. Footsteps. Fast. Purposeful. Not the shuffle of tired nurses or the measured pace of doctors. These footsteps belong to someone with a destination, with urgency, with purpose. Claire. She turned. Jay stood there. 20 feet away, but she could see everything. Tailored suit, charcoal gray, probably cost more than her car. Confidence radiating from every line of his body. Success written in his posture. Everything she'd watched from afar through social media posts she'd never liked but always read. His eyes found hers, dark brown, the same eyes that used to look at her like she was his entire world. Then they dropped to her swollen belly, then to the blood staining her hospital gown, then back to her face. He crossed the distance in 5 strides. Tell me what you need. Not what happened, not why me, not where's your husband, just what she needed, just a solution, just Jay being Jay, problem solver, fix it man, the guy who saw obstacles as equations to solve. $87,000. The words came out strangled, broken, desperate. Now, or my baby dies. Jay pulled out his phone, typed. His thumbs moved fast. Steady, sure. 30 seconds later, der Sutherland's pager buzzed. She pulled it from her pocket, read the screen. Her eyes widened. Done, Jay said. He looked at Claire. Really looked. The way he used to. The way that made her feel seen. Now sit down before you fall down. Jay, I can't. I don't know how I'll... Sit down, Claire. Her legs gave out. The chair caught her. Jay knelt in front of her. Eye level. Close enough that she could smell his cologne. Different from what he used to wear. More expensive. More sophisticated. More everything. They're taking her to surgery now, der Sutherland said. Her voice gentle. Relieved. We'll do everything we can. Claire nodded. Couldn't speak. Could only watch as her doctor disappeared through double doors that said surgical suite and no admittance and authorized personnel only. How far along are you? Jay asked. 29 weeks. The baby, she's too early. The placenta, something went wrong. She? A girl. Fresh tears came, hot, fast, unstoppable. We're having a girl. You and Derek. The name fell between them like a stone. Heavy. Unavoidable. Real. Yes. Claire looked at her hands, at her wedding ring, at the symbol of promises broken and trust destroyed. Me and Derek. Where is he? I don't know. Jay's jaw tightened, the muscle jumped, the way it used to when he was angry but trying not to show it, when he was controlling his response, managing his reaction. You don't know. He was here earlier, on his phone, then he left. He left? Not a question, a statement. Flat, cold, disbelieving. He said he was busy. Jay stood, paced, 3 steps one direction, 3 steps back, his hands flexed, fisted, released. The physical manifestation of rage barely contained. Your water broke. Your baby is in emergency surgery. You're covered in blood. And he's busy. Yes. Doing what? I don't know. Jay pulled out his phone again. Typed. Faster this time. Harder. His jaw set in that line she remembered. The stubborn line, the determined line. The line that said he was about to move mountains. What are you doing? Calling Marcus. Jay kept typing. My brother, he's a lawyer. You're going to need one. Jay, I can't ask you to. You're not asking. I'm offering. He looked up, his eyes hard, determined. Actually, I'm insisting. You saved my life once. My light. Remember? Claire remembered. 8 years ago, his appendicitis. The pain so severe he couldn't move. She'd driven him to the emergency room at 2 in the morning, stayed with him through surgery, brought him grape soda because he said it tasted like childhood, like safety, like home. They'd laughed, made plans, talked about the future, their future together. 6 months later, she'd ended it, told him she needed more, wanted more, deserved a man who was present, who showed up, who chose her over his company. She'd chosen Derek instead. Derek who was present physically but absent in every way that mattered. Derek who showed up late or not at all. Derek who chose himself over everything. That was different, Claire said. How? You didn't owe me $87,000. I don't care about the money. Jay sat beside her, close, too close, close enough that she could feel his body heat, could sense his presence, could remember what it felt like to be loved by him. I care about you. You shouldn't, not after... After what? After you made a choice? After you wanted something I couldn't give you? After you left because I was an obsessed workaholic who didn't know how to balance anything? Jay, you were right, Claire. I was impossible, driven to the point of insanity. I sacrificed everything for the company, including us, including you. You built something amazing. I built an empire. His voice went quiet, soft, sad. But I built it alone. Every success, every milestone, every achievement. I wondered what you'd think, if you'd be proud, if you'd regret leaving me. I regretted it every day. The words escaped before Claire could stop them. Truth unfiltered, honest, raw, the kind of truth that changes everything. Jay stared at her, his eyes searching, looking for something, confirmation, verification, proof that she meant it. Then why did you marry him? Because he was there, because he wanted me, because I thought present was enough. Claire's voice broke. I was wrong. Present isn't the same as engaged. There isn't the same as involved. Showing up isn't the same as actually caring. Does he hit you? No, nothing like that. He's just absent. Even when he's in the same room, even when we're talking, he's somewhere else, thinking about something else, caring about something else. That's its own kind of abuse. Jay's hand covered hers, warm, solid, real. Neglect, emotional abandonment, making you feel invisible. Claire nodded, couldn't speak, could only feel the weight of acknowledgement, the relief of being seen, of having someone name the things she'd been living but couldn't articulate. How long have you felt this way? Since the beginning, but I kept hoping he'd change. That marriage would change him, that the baby would change him. She laughed, no humor, just sound. Nothing changes him. He just becomes more of what he already is. The surgical suite doors opened. Dr. Sutherland emerged, still in her surgical gear, mask pulled down around her neck. Claire stood, her legs wobbled, Jay's arm wrapped around her waist, steadying her, supporting her, being the partner Derek should be. She's in surgery now, Dr. Sutherland said. It'll be about 2 hours, maybe 3. I'll update you as soon as I can. 2 hours, Claire repeated the words, trying to make them real, make them manageable, make them survivable. Go to the surgical waiting room, third floor, east wing. Try to rest. Dr. Sutherland's hand squeezed Claire's shoulder. Your daughter is a fighter. She's fighting hard. Like her mother, Claire thought, like she should have been fighting all along, against complacency, against settling, against a marriage that was killing her slowly from the inside. The surgical waiting room smelled different from the emergency wing, less antiseptic, more coffee and anxiety. Families clustered in corners, some crying, some praying, some staring at walls with the blank expression of people whose worlds had stopped. Claire and Jay sat in chairs by the window, not touching, not talking, just existing in the same space. The silence between them felt full, heavy with 8 years of unsaid words and unmade choices. Claire stared at the vending machine across the hall. The same type she'd stood at 8 years ago. Different hospital, Columbia Presbyterian, Jay's appendicitis. She'd bought him grape soda. He'd said it tasted like childhood, like safety, like home. They'd laughed, made plans, talked about the future. A future that never happened, a future she'd walked away from. She'd left him 6 months after that night, told him she needed more, wanted more, deserved a partner who was present. Now she was married to a man who defined absence. The universe had a sick sense of humor. Why did you answer? Claire asked, breaking the silence, needing to know. Jay's jaw tightened. I never deleted your number. Why not? Same reason you never deleted mine. Some people you don't get over. You just get better at pretending you have. You learn to live with the ghost of what could have been. You make peace with the fact that the right person came at the wrong time, or you were the wrong person for the right time, or the timing was just wrong, and there's nothing anyone can do about that. I see your company updates, Claire admitted, on social media. I don't like them, but I read them, every single one. I know. You know? I have analytics. I can see who views our bane, how often, how long they stay. Jay's lips quirked, almost a smile. You view it every Tuesday, 3:15 in the afternoon, for exactly 7 minutes. Claire felt heat creep up her neck. That's creepy that you know that. That's creepy that you do it. Fair point. They sat in silence again. But different now, less heavy, more familiar, like old friends. Like people who used to know each other completely and were remembering how. I'm sorry, Claire said, for how I ended things, for what I said, for telling you that you'd never amount to anything because you cared more about your company than about us. You weren't wrong. I was cruel. You were honest. Jay turned to face her. I was obsessed, driven. I sacrificed everything for the company, including us, including you, including any chance at a normal life. You built something incredible. I built an empty empire. His voice went quiet. Every success felt hollow. Every milestone felt pointless. Every achievement made me wonder what you'd think. If you'd be proud. If you'd regret leaving me. I regretted it every day, Claire repeated. But I thought you were better off without me. That you needed someone who understood your drive, who could keep up, who wouldn't ask you to choose. I didn't need someone who understood my drive. I needed someone who challenged it, who made me want to come home, who made me realize that building a company means nothing if you have no one to share it with. His words hung in the air. Truth. Finally. Did you ever get married? Claire asked. No. Engaged? Twice. Claire's chest tightened. Jealousy, sharp, unexpected, irrational. What happened? I compared them to you. Jay's voice stayed steady, matter of fact. They weren't you. They didn't challenge me the way you did. Didn't make me laugh the way you did. Didn't make me want to be better the way you did. So I ended it. Both times. That's not fair to them. No, it wasn't. But staying would have been worse. Marrying someone while in love with someone else. That's the real cruelty. Claire looked at her wedding ring. Gold band, simple, cheap. Derek had said they didn't need expensive rings. That love wasn't about money. That what mattered was the commitment. But commitment meant showing up, meant being present, meant choosing your partner over everything else. Derek had committed to a wedding, not a marriage, to a ceremony, not a partnership, to an idea, not a reality. Do you love him? Jay asked. I did, once, in the beginning. Claire twisted the ring. Or maybe I love the idea of him, the idea of being chosen, being wanted, being enough for someone. You were always enough, Claire. You were never the problem. Then why does it feel like I was? Because he made you feel that way. That's what narcissistic abuse does. It makes you question yourself, your worth, your reality. It makes you think you're the problem when the problem is always them. Narcissistic abuse. Claire had read about it, late at night when Derek was asleep or out or wherever he went. Articles about gaslighting, about emotional manipulation, about partners who made you feel crazy for having needs, for wanting attention, for expecting basic human decency. She'd read those articles and thought, that's not my marriage. Derek's not a narcissist. He's just busy, just stressed, just dealing with a lot. But maybe she'd been lying to herself. Maybe she'd been so committed to making it work that she'd ignored every sign that it couldn't, that it wouldn't, that it was never going to be what she needed. I'm scared, Claire whispered. Of what? Of everything. Of my daughter dying, of Derek, of being alone, of starting over, of admitting I made a mistake, of being judged, of being weak, of being exactly what everyone said I was when I left you for him. What did they say? That I was stupid, that I was throwing away the best thing that ever happened to me, that I'd regret it, that Derek would never love me the way you did. They were right. I know. Tears came, hot, fast, unstoppable. I know they were right. I've known for 3 years. I just didn't want to admit it. Didn't want to be wrong. Didn't want to be the woman who chose wrong, who settled, who gave up her career and her independence and her self-respect for a man who doesn't even care enough to show up when his daughter is dying. Jay pulled her into his arms. She collapsed against his chest, let herself be held, let herself be comforted, let herself feel safe for the first time in 3 years. You're not weak, Jay said into her hair. You're not stupid. You're not any of the things you think you are. You made a choice based on what you needed at the time. It didn't work out. That doesn't make you a failure. It makes you human. I'm so tired, Jay. So tired of pretending everything is fine. Of making excuses for him, of lying to my family, of performing for friends, of being the happy wife when I'm dying inside. Then stop pretending. I don't know how. You start by telling the truth. To yourself, to him, to everyone. Claire pulled back, looked at Jay, his face so familiar, so unchanged. So exactly what she needed 8 years ago and still needed now. Will you stay? She asked. Until the surgery is over? I know I don't have the right to ask. I know I walked away from that right 8 years ago, but I'm asking anyway. Will you stay? I'm not going anywhere, Jay said. Not this time. Not ever again if you don't want me to. The promise hung between them. Heavy, real, full of possibility and danger and everything Claire had been too scared to hope for. She nodded, couldn't speak, could only hold on to him while the clock ticked and the minutes passed, and somewhere in this hospital, her daughter fought for life. 2 hours became 3, 3 became 4. The sun set outside the window. Orange, pink, purple, beautiful and terrible because beauty existed even in crisis, even in emergency, even when your world was ending. Claire dozed against Jay's shoulder, not asleep, not awake, that in-between place where thoughts blur and reality feels distant. What the hell is he doing here? Derek's voice shattered the quiet, sharp, loud, angry. Claire's eyes snapped open. Her husband stood in the doorway, shirt wrinkled, hair messy, cologne too strong. The smell that used to comfort her now made her sick, made her stomach turn, made her remember all the times she'd smelled that cologne and known he was lying. What the hell is he doing here? Derek repeated, pointing at Jay, his finger accusatory, his face red, his eyes wild. Claire stood, slowly. Her legs shook, but she stood. Jay stood beside her, not touching her, just there, present, the way a partner should be. He saved our daughter's life. Our daughter? Derek laughed. Sharp, mean, cruel. Right, the daughter you just had to have. Had to have? Claire's voice rose. You're the one who said you wanted kids. You're the one who said it was time. You're the one who said a baby would make everything better. I said a lot of things. The admission fell between them. Honest. Finally. The truth Derek had been hiding for 3 years. The hallway tilted, or maybe Claire did. Jay's hand touched her elbow, steadying, supporting, being the thing she needed. You need to leave, Jay said, his voice calm, too calm, the dangerous kind of calm. This is my wife. This is a woman whose child is in surgery because you were too busy to answer your phone. Derek's face went purple. You don't know anything about us. I know she called me instead of her husband. That tells me everything. She always runs to you, always compares me to you. Do you know what it's like living in the shadow of James Holloway? The perfect ex-boyfriend, the success story, the one who got away? If you felt that way, why did you marry her? Jay stepped forward, between Claire and Derek, protecting, defending, being the man Derek should have been. Because I thought I could make her forget you. I thought I could be enough. Derek's voice cracked. I thought love was enough. Love requires action, Jay said. Love requires showing up. Love requires sacrifice. You don't love Claire. You love the idea of winning her from me. You love the trophy, not the woman. That's not, then where were you? Claire's voice cut through the argument. Quiet, controlled, done with excuses. Where were you 4 hours ago when I called? Where were you 2 hours ago when our daughter went into surgery? Where were you every single moment I needed you? Silence. Derek, where were you? More silence. His eyes shifted. Away. Down. Anywhere but at her. At 2 in the afternoon on Sunday? Nothing. Where were you? Derek's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, looked away, but not fast enough. Never fast enough. Claire saw the name on the screen. Amber. Who's Amber? Nobody. He's lying. I know he's lying. I've known for months. I just didn't want to see it. Didn't want to admit it. Didn't want to face the truth that my husband is cheating on me while I'm carrying his child. That the man I married cares so little about our family that he chooses another woman over our dying daughter. Show me your phone. Claire, don't start. Show me your phone. This is ridiculous. Jay moved forward. Didn't touch Derek. Didn't need to. His presence was enough. His also, his confidence, his barely controlled rage. Give her the phone, Jay said, or I will take it from you. Something in Jay's voice made Derek comply. He threw the phone at Claire. She caught it. Barely, her hands shaking, her heart hammering, her whole world about to shatter. She opened it. No password. Derek never set passwords. Said they were for people with things to hide. Said trust meant transparency. Said he had nothing to hide. Lies. All lies. The messages loaded. Recent conversation. Today, while Claire's water broke. While their daughter fought for life. While Claire begged him to come. To help. To care. Amber. Miss you already, baby. Derek. Be there in 20. Amber. Can't wait. Wear the thing I like. Derek. You know I will, Amber. Your wife's still clueless? Derek. She doesn't pay attention to anything except that baby. Amber. When are you leaving her? Derek. Soon. After the kid is born. Easier that way. The timestamp. 2:47 in the afternoon. Right when Claire's water broke. Right when she'd called him screaming. Right when their daughter's life hung in the balance. He'd been with another woman. Planning to leave. Calling their baby the kid like she wasn't his daughter. Like she wasn't a person. Like she didn't matter. Claire's hand opened. The phone clattered to the floor. Plastic and glass and metal and lies. How long? Her voice didn't sound like hers. Flat, dead, empty. Claire, how long? Derek ran his hand through his hair, the gesture she used to find endearing. Now just pathetic, just weak, just the movement of a coward who'd been caught. 6 months, 6 months, half her pregnancy, every doctor's appointment he'd missed, every time he'd worked late, every excuse, every lie, Every moment she doubted herself, and he'd made her feel crazy for questioning him. Law lies. The hardest part is admitting I knew all along, Claire said. To herself, to Jay, to the empty hallway, to the universe. I knew. I just hoped I was wrong. You didn't know, Derek said. I knew. Claire looked at him, really looked. Saw him clearly for the first time in 3 years. I knew because you stopped touching me, stopped kissing me, stopped looking at me like I mattered. I knew because you were never home, never available, never present. I knew because everything about you changed, and I told myself it was work. It was stress. It was anything except the truth. If you knew, why didn't you say something? Because I was pregnant. Because I was scared. Because I thought maybe after the baby came, you'd remember why you married me. You'd fall in love with our daughter. You'd want to be a family. I do want to be a family. No, you want the appearance of family. You want the trophy wife and the cute baby for Instagram photos. You want people to think you're a good man. But you don't want the reality, the work, the sacrifice, the actual love. Heels clicked down the hallway, fast, aggressive, angry. Derek, what's going on? Patricia Walsh appeared, designer handbag, perfect hair, disappointed expression. The same expression she'd worn every time she looked at Claire for 3 years. The expression that said, you're not good enough for my son. You're not pretty enough, not accomplished enough, not worthy enough. Mom, who is this man? Claire, why are you covered in blood? Where's Derek's child? In surgery, Claire said, voice steady, done with being intimidated. Being saved by the man your son isn't. Using money your son doesn't have. Patricia's eyes narrowed. You always were dramatic. Dramatic? Claire laughed. No humor, just sound, just noise, just the audible version of breaking. Your son is cheating on me, has been for 6 months, while I've been carrying his child, while I've been planning our future, while I've been believing his lies. That's not, Derek wouldn't, he just admitted it. Patricia turned to Derek, waited. He looked at his shoes, silent, guilty, caught. Well, Patricia sniffed, what did you expect? You let yourself go, gained all that weight. I'm pregnant. The words screamed in Claire's head. I'm pregnant with your son's child. I gained weight because I'm growing a human being, because my body is creating life, because this is what pregnancy looks like. I'm pregnant, Claire whispered. That's no excuse to stop trying, to stop making an effort. Men have needs, Claire. If you don't meet them, they'll find someone who will. The hallway spun. Claire's knees buckled. The world tilted. Black spots danced in her vision. Jay caught her, his arms steady, strong, safe, real. Get out, Jay said, voice like steel, like ice, like controlled fury. Both of you. This is family business. The family that abandoned her, that family, the family that blames a pregnant woman for her husband's affair. That family, the family that showed up 4 hours late and then had the audacity to question why someone else cared enough to save her child's life. That family? Patricia's mouth opened, closed. No words came. Get out now, or I will have security remove you. Derek grabbed his mother's arm, pulled her away. They disappeared around the corner. Gone. Finally, Jay lowered Claire into a chair, knelt in front of her, his hands on her knees, his eyes on her face. Present, engaged, everything Derek had never been. Breathe, Jay said. Just breathe. Claire breathed, in, out, counting, focusing, surviving. I can't do this, she whispered. I can't be married to him anymore. I can't pretend. I can't smile through family dinners. I can't make excuses. I can't lie to protect him. I just can't. Then don't. It's not that simple. It's exactly that simple. You file for divorce, you leave, you build a new life. With what money? I have nothing, no job, no savings, no credit, nothing. You have me, Jay said. You have my resources, my support, my lawyers, my money. Everything I have is yours if you need it. I can't take your money, Sitom. You already did. $87,000. What's a little more? Jay, let me help you, please. Let me be the person Derek should have been. Let me support you, protect you, give you the space to figure out who you are without him. Claire looked at this man, this beautiful, successful, kind man who'd loved her 8 years ago, who'd let her go when she needed to leave, who'd answered her call without hesitation, who'd paid for her daughter's life without question, who'd stayed when he had every right to leave. Why, she asked, why are you doing this? Because I never stopped loving you, Jay said. Because 8 years wasn't enough to forget you. Because seeing you again reminded me what I lost, what I let slip away, what I sacrificed for success that means nothing without someone to share it with. I'm married, pregnant, complicated, broken. You're not broken, you're breaking free. There's a difference. Sutherland appeared, still in surgical gear, mask pulled down, face tired, eyes relieved. Claire stood, grabbed Jay's hand, held on, needed the anchor, the support, the strength she didn't have. She's alive, Dr. Sutherland said. The words hit like a wave, relief so profound it hurt, joy so intense it felt like pain, gratitude so deep it had no bottom. Claire's hands covered her face. No sound came out, just shaking, just tears, just relief. Jay's arm wrapped around her shoulders. Solid, real, there. She's small, Dr. Sutherland continued, 3 pounds, 2 ounces, but she's breathing on her own, fighting, strong, like her mother. Can I see her? In about an hour. We're getting her settled in the neonatal intensive care unit. She'll need to stay for a while, 6 weeks, maybe 8, but she's going to be okay. Your daughter is going to be okay. Your daughter is going to be okay. The words Claire had been terrified she'd never hear. The words that changed everything. The words that meant hope, future, life. She collapsed against Jay. Let him hold her. Let him be strong when she couldn't. Let him be everything Derek should have been but never was. And somewhere in this hospital, her daughter breathed, fought, lived. Hope existed. Finally. Claire sat in the wheelchair hospital policy required. Even though she could walk, even though she felt strong enough to run, strong enough to fly, strong enough to move the mountains because her daughter was alive, breathing, fighting. Have you chosen a name? The nurse asked. Young, kind face, clipboard in hand. Claire had chosen a name. Months ago, she and Derek had picked it together, one of the few things they'd agreed on. Olivia Grace, pretty, classic, traditional. But now, looking at Jay, thinking about the man who'd abandoned her and the man who'd saved her, thinking about promises broken and promises kept, thinking about the life she'd imagined and the life she was going to build. Hope, Claire said. Her name is Hope. Middle name? Claire looked at Jay. He'd stood, about to leave, to give her privacy, to let her have this moment with Derek if he bothered to show up. Always respectful, always considerate, always putting her needs first. James, Claire said. Hope James Walsh. Jay stopped, turned. His eyes met hers. Surprised, emotional. After my grandfather, Claire added quickly, too quickly. The lie obvious. James Brennan, he was a good man, a firefighter, saved lives. I want her to have that legacy. But they both knew the truth. Both understood the message. Both recognized the name for what it was, a promise, a connection, a future that maybe, possibly, eventually could exist. Hope James Walsh, the nurse repeated, writing on her clipboard, making it official, making it real. Beautiful name. Can we see her now? Jay asked. Follow me. They walked through corridors, past rooms full of families and hope and fear, past doctors and nurses and people whose lives had been forever changed by emergency, by crisis, by moments that divided time into before and after. The neonatal intensive care unit smelled different from the emergency wing, not like bleach and fear, like baby powder and hope. Soft lights, quiet machines, tiny fighters in plastic boxes. Hope lay in the third isolette from the door. Wires and tubes, monitors beeping, numbers measuring heart rate and oxygen saturation and all the invisible things that meant life. But breathing, living, fighting. Claire's finger touched the plastic. Couldn't touch her daughter yet. Too fragile, too new, too small. But she could see her, could watch her chest rise and fall, could see her tiny fists clench and release, could witness the miracle of life continuing. She has your nose, Jay said, standing beside Claire. Close, supporting. There. Claire looked, really looked. Hope did have her nose, small, slightly upturned, the same nose Claire had always hated on herself but loved on her daughter. Funny how that worked, how you could hate something about yourself but love it in someone else. She's perfect, Claire whispered, like her mother. When did Derek stop looking at me like that? When did I stop mattering to him? When did I become invisible? Background noise? An obligation instead of a choice? Mrs. Walsh? Claire turned. A different nurse. Older. Experienced. Kind eyes behind glasses. Yes? Your husband is in the waiting room. He'd like to see the baby. Of course he would. Now, after missing everything important, after being with another woman while his daughter fought for life, after destroying their marriage, after proving he cared more about himself than anyone else. Now he wanted to see Hope. Now he wanted to play father. Now he wanted to perform for the nurses and doctors and anyone watching. Look at me. I'm a good dad. I showed up. Never mind that I'm 4 hours late. Never mind that another man paid to save my daughter's life. Never mind any of it. Tell him he can see her tomorrow, Claire said, voice steady, clear, final. Tell him I need tonight, just tonight, to be with my daughter, alone. Are you sure? I'm sure. The nurse nodded, left, carried the message to Derek. The message that said, not tonight, not after what you did, not after how you failed, not when I need space to breathe, to think, to figure out what comes next. Jay's hand touched Claire's shoulder. I should go. Give you privacy. Give you time with Hope. Stay. The word came out desperate, needy, honest. Please stay. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to face this by myself. I don't want Derek to come back and manipulate me into forgiving him before I'm ready. Please stay. Jay sat in the chair beside Hope's isolette. I'm not going anywhere. They sat in silence, watching Hope breathe, watching monitors, watching the miracle of life continuing against odds that should have been impossible. What happens now? Claire asked. With Hope? She stays here 6 to 8 weeks, gains weight, gets stronger, then she goes home. Home to what? A broken marriage? A cheating husband? A mother-in-law who blames her for existing? Home to you, Jay said. Home to a mother who loves her, who fought for her, who will protect her from all the things that tried to destroy her before she was even born. I don't know how to be a single mother. You're not single yet. Technically, you're still married. Not for long. Claire's voice hardened. I'm filing for divorce. Tomorrow. As soon as I can talk to a lawyer. I'm done. Finished. I refuse to spend one more day married to a man who thinks so little of me that he plans to leave me with another woman while I'm in the hospital with his premature daughter. Marcus can help. My brother, he's a shark. Best divorce attorney in New York. He'll protect you. Make sure Derek doesn't take anything. Make sure you get what you deserve. I don't deserve anything. I signed a prenup. Derek insisted, said it protected both of us. Said love meant trusting each other. I trusted him. I signed. I gave up every protection I had. Prenups can be contested, especially when signed under duress or false pretenses. Marcus will find a way. Hope stirred, small movement, tiny fist unclenching, then reclenching. Her face scrunched, smoothed. Her chest rose and fell. Perfect rhythm, perfect life. She's beautiful, Jay whispered. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Claire said, not just for the compliment, for everything, for coming, for staying, for paying, for supporting, for being there when the person who should have been wasn't. Thank you for saving her life. Thank you for calling me, for trusting me after 8 years, for letting me be part of this. I didn't know who else to call. You could have called your parents, your sister, a friend, anyone. My parents are in Florida, retired. They don't need this stress. My sister is a teacher, single, broke, she couldn't help. And my friends, Claire laughed, bitter. What friends? I gave them all up when I married Derek. He said we needed couple friends, people who understood marriage, people who supported us. So I cut off everyone who questioned our relationship, everyone who said I was making a mistake, everyone who cared about me more than they cared about being polite. That's isolation, classic abuse tactic. Cut off support systems, make the victim dependent on the abuser, make leaving impossible. I'm so stupid. You're not stupid. You're a victim of systematic manipulation. There's a difference. I should have seen it, should have known, should have what? Read his mind? Known he was lying when he looked you in the eye and promised to love you? Anticipated that he'd cheat? That his mother would blame you? That he'd abandon you when you needed him most? You're not psychic, Claire. You're human. You trusted. You believed. You hoped. That's not stupid. That's human. Vanessa burst through the NICU doors, mascara running, hair wild, eyes wide. She spotted Claire and ran. No regard for quiet signs or hospital rules or anything except getting to her sister. Oh my God, Claire. They hugged, really hugged. The kind of hug that transfers strength. That shares pain. That says I'm here and I've got you and you're not alone. I came as soon as I heard. Beth called me. Said you were... Vanessa pulled back. Saw Jay. Froze. Her mouth dropped open. Holy shit. Language, a nurse warned. Sorry, holy... Vanessa caught herself, stared at Jay. Is that Jay Holloway? Yes, Claire said. The Jay Holloway? There's only one. The Jay Holloway you stalked in line for 8 years? The Jay Holloway worth like $1 billion? The Jay Holloway you said was the biggest mistake you ever made letting go? That Jay Holloway. I didn't stalk. Claire, you liked his company's post at 3 in the morning last Tuesday. Vanessa turned to Jay, extended her hand. I'm Vanessa, Claire's sister, the one who's been telling her for 3 years that Derek is a mistake and she should have stayed with you. Nice to finally meet you in person instead of through stalker social media posts. Nice to meet you too, Jay said, shaking her hand. Amused. I'm Jay, the ex-boyfriend she left because I work too much. And now you're a billionaire and Derek is a cheating loser. Funny how that worked out. Vanessa looked at Hope, her face softened. Oh, Claire, she's beautiful. She's perfect. She's so tiny. 3 pounds, 2 ounces, Claire said. Born at 29 weeks, too early, but fighting. The doctor says she'll be okay. 6 to 8 weeks in the NICU, then home. Home to where? Please tell me you're not going back to that apartment with Derek. I'm not. Good, you can stay with me. It's small, but it's yours. You and Hope, for as long as you need. Vanessa, I can't. You can and you will. I have a spare bedroom. It's tiny, currently full of my crap, but I'll clean it out, make it work. You're not doing this alone. I have an apartment building, Jay said, downtown. I keep a penthouse empty for when I need to stay in the city. 3 bedrooms, fully furnished, security. You could stay there. Both of you, for as long as you need. I can't accept that, Claire said. Why not? Because it's too much. Because I already owe you $87,000. Because accepting more makes me dependent on you. Makes me the woman who left one man and immediately latched onto another. Makes me weak. It makes you smart, Vanessa said. It makes you practical. It makes you a woman who accepts help when it's offered instead of drowning because pride won't let her grab the life preserver. Jay stood, pulled out his phone, typed. I'm having my assistant send over keys, the address, building access codes. It's yours. Use it or don't. But the option is there. No strings, no expectations, just a safe place to land while you figure out what comes next. Why are you doing this? Because I love you, Jay said. Simple, direct, honest. Because I never stopped. Because seeing you again made me realize what I lost, what I gave up. What I sacrificed for success, that means nothing when you're alone. Because I want to help. Because I can. Because you deserve better than what you've been accepting. Claire stared at him. This man who'd loved her first, who'd let her go, who'd built an empire, who'd answered her call after 8 years of silence, who'd saved her daughter's life, who was offering her a future without asking for anything in return. I'm not ready, she whispered. For us, for dating, for anything except surviving and figuring out how to be Hope's mother. I know, Jay said. I'm not about asking for us. Not yet. Maybe not ever if that's what you decide. I'm just asking to be your friend, your support, the person you call when you need help. Can I be that? Yes, Claire said, you can be that. He smiled, real, genuine. The smile she remembered from 8 years ago, the smile that made her believe in possibility. Then that's enough. For now, that's more than enough. 3 days passed. 3 days of sitting beside Hope's isolette, of watching monitors, of learning what oxygen saturation meant, what bradycardia meant, what every beep and alarm signified. 3 days of becoming fluent in NICU language. Derek came every day, brought flowers, apologized, cried, begged, performed, put on a show for the nurses, for the doctors, for anyone watching. Look at me. I'm a good father. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Give me another chance. Claire watched him perform, recognized the pattern, had seen it before, after the maxed out credit cards. I made a mistake. I'll pay it back. I promise, after the secret loan from his brother. I made a mistake. I won't do it again. I promise. After the gambling losses she discovered 6 months into their marriage. I made a mistake. I'm getting help. I promise. Always mistakes, never choices, never decisions, never conscious actions with consequences. Just mistakes, accidents, things that happened to him rather than things he did. Baby, please, Derek said. Day 3, evening visit, flowers in hand again. Different bouquet, still roses, still expensive, still meaningless. Please talk to me. Please give me a chance to explain. Explain what? Claire kept her eyes on Hope, on her daughter who breathed and fought and survived despite everything. Explain Amber? Explain 6 months of lying? Explain planning to leave me after the baby was born? Explain telling your mistress that I don't pay attention to anything except the baby? Explain any of it. I was scared. Of what? Of being a father, of the responsibility, of losing you to the baby, of not being enough. So you found someone else to make you feel enough? It wasn't like that. Then what was it like, Derek? Explain it to me. Make me understand how cheating on your pregnant wife is somehow my fault. How abandoning me at the hospital is justified. How letting another man pay to save your daughter's life makes sense. Explain any of it in a way that doesn't make you the villain. Silence. You can't, Claire said, because there's no explanation, no justification, no excuse that makes any of this okay. I love you. No, you don't. You love what I represent, the wife, the family, the image. But you don't love me. You don't know me. You don't see me. I could be anyone, any woman, anybody to perform the role of wife while you do whatever you want. That's not true. Then tell me something about me, something real, something that proves you actually pay attention. What's my favorite book? What's my biggest fear? What do I want to do with my life? What makes me happy? Tell me anything that proves you see me as a person instead of a prop in your life. More silence. You can't, Claire repeated, because you don't know. You don't care. You never did. I was just the woman who said yes when you proposed, who stayed when others left, who believed your lies when everyone else saw through them. Claire, go home, Derek. She's my daughter. Then act like her father, get a job that pays enough to support her. Stop gambling, end your affair, go to therapy, fix yourself, become the man you pretended to be when we met. Do any of those things and maybe you can be part of her life. But right now, you're just the man whose name is on her birth certificate. Biology doesn't make you a father. Showing up does. and you haven't shown up for anything that matters. Derek's face went red. You're being unreasonable. I'm being honest. Finally, after 3 years of making excuses for you, of lying to my family, of pretending we're happy, of performing the role of loving wife when I've been dying inside, I'm done lying, done pretending, done protecting you from consequences you earned. You're going to regret this. The only thing I regret is marrying you. Everything else? Everything else is just survival. Derek left. Finally, flowers thrown in the trash. Another performance ended. Another attempt at manipulation failed. Jay appeared 10 minutes later. He'd been waiting, giving Derek space, respecting boundaries while remaining available. The perfect balance of present and respectful. I heard, Jay said, the nurses gossip. The nurses recognize abuse when they see it. They're protective of you. They shouldn't have to be. I should be able to protect myself. You are protecting yourself. You're setting boundaries, saying no, refusing to accept his excuses. That's protection. That's strength. Claire leaned back in her chair, exhausted, emotionally drained, tired of fighting, tired of explaining, tired of justifying her decision to people who thought marriage meant accepting anything, forgiving everything, staying no matter what. Marcus wants to meet with you tomorrow, Jay said. My brother, the divorce attorney, he's reviewed the prenup. He thinks he can get it thrown out. On what grounds? Fraud, duress, misrepresentation. Derek claimed he had no assets when you married. Turns out he had significant debt, gambling losses, credit card debt, all of which became your debt the moment you signed the marriage certificate. He defrauded you. That voids the prenup. How much debt? $143,000. The number hit like a punch. Claire couldn't breathe, couldn't process, couldn't comprehend that level of betrayal. That's not possible. I would have known. I would have seen it. I would have. You signed a joint tax return 3 years ago. It gave him power of attorney for financial matters. He's been opening credit cards in your name, taking out loans, gambling it all away. You're liable for everything unless we can prove fraud. How do we prove fraud? He concealed his debt when you married, lied about his financial situation, used your social security number without permission. That's identity theft. That's fraud. That's illegal. Marcus can prove it, can get the prenup thrown out, can protect you from his debt, can make sure you get what you deserve in the divorce. $143,000, more than Hope's hospital bill, more than Claire's student loans, more than she'd earned in the 3 years since leaving her job, more than she could pay back in a lifetime. I'm ruined, Claire whispered, financially ruined, even if we prove fraud, even if the prenup is thrown out. I have no job, no income, no savings, no credit, nothing. How do I rebuild from this? You let me help. I can't keep taking your money. Why not? Because it makes me dependent on you, because it puts me in debt to you, because it creates an imbalance that will destroy any chance of us having an equal relationship in the future. Who said anything about a relationship? You did, 3 days ago. You said you still love me, that you never stopped, that seeing me again made you realize what you lost. I did say that, and I meant it, but I also said I'm not asking for us, not yet. Maybe not ever if that's what you decide. I'm asking to be your friend, your support, the person you call when you need help. Nothing more, not now, not until you're ready, not until you've healed, not until you know who you are without Derek defining you. Claire looked at him, really looked, saw the sincerity in his eyes, the patience, the genuine care that asked for nothing in return. Why, she asked, again, always the same question, always needing to understand. Why are you doing this? Because I can, because you need it, because watching you suffer when I have resources to help feels wrong, because loving someone means wanting them to be okay even if they're not with you, because this isn't about us, it's about you, about hope, about giving you the space and support to build the life you deserve. And if I never want us, if I decide I'm done with men, with relationships, with depending on anyone except myself, then I'll be your friend. I'll support you. I'll be the person you call when your car breaks down or Hope is sick or you need someone to watch her while you go back to work. I'll be the person who shows up, who stays, who chooses you, even if you never choose me back. The promise hung between them, honest, real, the kind of love that asks for nothing, expects nothing, just gives. Okay, Claire said. Okay, I'll meet with Marcus tomorrow. I'll file for divorce. I'll start rebuilding. But Jay, I need you to promise me something. Anything. If I'm too broken, if this is too much, if being around me and Hope and all my baggage becomes too heavy, promise you'll tell me. Promise you'll walk away before you resent me, before you regret helping, before this destroys what we have, whatever this is. I promise, Jay said. But Claire, you're not too broken. You're not too much. And your baggage? It's just temporary weight you're carrying while you heal. It won't always be this heavy. It won't always hurt this much. And I'm strong enough to help carry it until you're not. Hope stirred, her tiny hand open, closed, reached for something unseen, fighting even in sleep, fighting to live, to grow, to become, like her mother, learning to fight, to survive, to become who she was always meant to be before Derek convinced her to be smaller, quieter, less. Thank you, Claire whispered. To Jay, to Hope, to the universe, to herself for finally finding the courage to choose better. You're welcome, Jay said. Now get some rest. Tomorrow we start rebuilding. Tonight we just survive. Survival. It sounded simple, but Claire was learning that survival was the hardest thing she'd ever done. Harder than marriage, harder than pregnancy, harder than watching her daughter fight for life. Survival meant choosing yourself when everyone said you should choose others, meant walking away when staying was easier, meant rebuilding when breaking down felt inevitable. But survival also meant hope, meant future, meant possibility. And Claire was learning to hope again. Finally. Marcus Holloway looked exactly like Jay, except older, sharper, more intense. He sat across from Claire in the hospital conference room with files spread across the table. Evidence, documentation, proof of Derek's fraud compiled in 3 days of investigation. This is worse than I thought, Marcus said. Not sugarcoating, not softening, just truth. Derek has been systematically destroying your financial life for 3 years, since before you married him. How bad? 143,000 in debt, 72,000 in gambling losses in the last year alone, multiple credit cards in your name, loans taken out using your social security number. He's been living off your credit while his stays pristine. Can I go to jail for this? No, you're a victim of identity theft. But you will face collection agencies, lawsuits, wage garnishment once you're working again, unless we can prove fraud and get the debt transferred back to him. Can you do that? I can try. The prenup complicates things. You signed away rights to his assets and protections from his debts, but he committed fraud by concealing his financial situation when you married. If I can prove he intentionally deceived you, the prenup is void. How do you prove intent? Text messages, emails, bank records, evidence that he knew about his debt and deliberately hid it. Evidence that he married you specifically to access your credit, that you were a financial target, not a romantic partner. The words cut, sharp, brutal, honest. You think he married me for my credit? I think he married you for what you could provide. Financial stability, social respectability, the appearance of success. Whether he loved you, I can't say. But the evidence suggests his primary motivation was accessing your resources while protecting his own. Claire felt sick, used, stupid. How had she missed it? How had she not seen that Derek was using her? That every I love you came with a price tag? That marriage was a transaction, not a partnership? There's more, Marcus said. He pulled out another file, thicker. Patricia Walsh co-signed on several of Derek's loans. She knew about his debt. She helped hide it. She's complicit in the fraud. His mother knew? She knew, and she encouraged him to marry you. There are text messages between them, discussing your credit score, your savings, your earning potential. They targeted you, Claire, deliberately, specifically. You weren't random, you were chosen. The betrayal cut deeper. Claire had spent 3 years trying to win Patricia's approval, trying to be good enough, thin enough, accomplished enough, perfect enough. And the whole time Patricia had known, had helped Derek destroy her, had blamed her for gaining weight while pregnant when the plan had always been to use her and discard her. What do I do? You file for divorce immediately. You file a police report for identity theft. You separate your finances completely. You protect yourself and hope, and you let me destroy them in court. I don't want revenge. This isn't revenge. This is justice. This is protecting other women from being victimized the same way. This is making sure Derek faces consequences for fraud. This is about what's right. Claire looked at the files, evidence of betrayal compiled neatly in manila folders. Her marriage reduced to documentation of lies. Do it, she said. File the divorce, the police report, all of it. I'm done protecting him, done making excuses, done being the woman who stays when she should run. Good. Marcus gathered the files. Professional, efficient, deadly. I'll have papers drawn up by tomorrow. You'll need to serve him. That means he'll know. He'll fight, he'll beg, he'll threaten. Are you ready for that? No, but I'm doing it anyway. That's courage, real courage, not the absence of fear, just action despite it. After Marcus left, Claire sat alone in the conference room. The fluorescent lights hummed. The clock ticked. Time passed in measurements of ending. Her marriage was over, had been over, maybe had never really started. Maybe it had always been a performance, a transaction, a lie wrapped in wedding vows and promises that meant nothing. Vanessa appeared in the doorway. I heard. Marcus briefed me. Jesus, Claire. Derek is worse than I thought, and I already thought he was garbage. You were right about everything. I should have listened. No, you should have been allowed to make your own choices without me judging. I'm sorry for not supporting you, for not being there, for letting him isolate you from family. It's not your fault. It's partially my fault. I got angry instead of patient. I pushed instead of waited. I made you choose between me and him instead of just being available when you needed me. That's on me. They hugged. Sisters, friends, the relationship they'd lost while Claire was married now slowly rebuilding. Move in with me, Vanessa said. You and Hope. My apartment is small, but it's yours. I'll clear out the spare room. We'll make it work. Jay offered his penthouse. Of course he did, because he's perfect and wonderful and still madly in love with you. Vanessa pulled back. Are you going to take it? I don't know. Part of me wants independence, wants to prove I can do this alone. Another part is terrified, realistic, knows that a newborn NICU baby and a divorce and rebuilding my career is too much to do without help. So take the help, take the penthouse, except that you don't have to do everything alone. That asking for support isn't weakness. That letting people who love you help is actually strength. What if I start depending on him? What if I can't rebuild? What if I trade Derek's control for Jay's? What if I'm just jumping from one man to another instead of learning to stand alone? Then you'll figure it out. You'll set boundaries. You'll maintain independence within dependence. You'll accept help without surrendering autonomy. You'll learn, you'll grow, you'll become who you're meant to be, with or without Jay, with or without anyone, because you're stronger than you think, braver than you feel, more capable than Derek ever let you believe. Claire leaned against her sister, drew strength, borrowed courage, remembered that she came from a family of strong women. Her mother who'd worked 2 jobs to put herself through library school. Her grandmother who'd left an abusive husband in the 1960s when divorce was scandal. Her great-grandmother who'd immigrated alone at 16 with nothing except hope. She came from fighters, from survivors, from women who'd rebuilt from nothing and created everything. She could do this, would do this, was already doing this. Okay, Claire said, I'll take the penthouse temporarily until I'm working again, until I can afford my own place, until I'm stable enough to stand alone. Good. Now let's go see your daughter. Let's remind ourselves why all of this matters. Why fighting is worth it. Why survival leads to living. They walked to the NICU, through corridors that were becoming familiar, past nurses who smiled and nodded, past families who shared this strange temporary community of crisis and hope. Hope lay in her isolette, bigger now, 4 pounds, still tiny but growing, fighting, winning. Beth Carmen stood beside the isolette, Claire's best friend from college. The friend she'd lost when Derek said couple friends were more appropriate. The friend who'd called Vanessa when Claire's water broke. Who'd stayed connected despite Claire pushing her away. "Hey," Beth said, soft, gentle. "I hope it's okay I'm here. I'm not on shift. I wanted to see her, see you, make sure you're okay." "It's okay," Claire said. "It's more than okay. I'm sorry. For everything, for pushing you away, for choosing him over you, for believing his lies about what friendship should look like. You don't have to apologize. I understand. I work in healthcare. I see this pattern constantly. Isolation, control, manipulation. It's not your fault. It was never your fault." They stood together. 3 women, 3 friends, 3 survivors of different battles watching one tiny fighter win hers. "She's beautiful," Beth whispered. "Absolutely beautiful. Like her mother." Claire thought about beauty, about how she'd spent 3 years believing she wasn't beautiful enough, thin enough, perfect enough. How Derek and Patricia had systematically destroyed her self-worth while pretending to build her up. But she was beautiful, was thin enough, was perfect enough, was always enough. Derek's inability to see it wasn't her failure. It was his. "Thank you," Claire said, to Beth, to Vanessa, to herself. "Thank you for staying, for waiting, for not giving up on me when I gave up on myself." "That's what family does," Vanessa said. "Blood or chosen. Real family shows up, stays, fights for you when you can't fight for yourself. And we're your family. Always have been, always will be." Claire cried, healing tears, relief tears, gratitude tears, the kind of tears that wash away pain and make room for hope. And in her isolette, hope stirred. Her tiny hand reached, grasped, held on, like her mother, learning to hold on, to fight, to survive, to become. Day 7, 1 week since Hope's birth, 1 week since Claire's life exploded and rebuilt simultaneously. The divorce papers were ready. Marcus had them couriered to the hospital. Official, legal, final. The end of a marriage that should never have started. "You need to serve him," Marcus said. Hospital conference room again. Documentation spread across the table. "Legally, he has to be notified. Do you want me to hire someone, or do you want to do it yourself?" "I want to do it myself," Claire said. Voice steady, sure. "He deserves to hear it from me, to face me, to see that I'm done. He'll fight, he'll beg, he'll threaten. Are you ready?" "I've been ready since I saw those text messages. Since I realized he planned to leave me after Hope was born. Since I understood our entire marriage was a lie. Yes, I'm ready." Derek came that evening, same time as always, 6:30, after work, before dinner. The 30-minute window he allocated for fatherhood before returning to whatever life he'd been living apart from Claire. "Hey, baby," Derek said. Flowers again. Always flowers. Never presents. Never real change, just performance. "How's our girl?" "She's good, gaining weight. Off oxygen support. The doctors say she might go home in 4 weeks instead of 8. "That's great. That's amazing. See, I told you she'd be fine. She's a fighter. Like her dad." Like her mother, Claire thought. Like the woman you tried to destroy but couldn't. Like the person who's about to show you what real fighting looks like. "Derek, we need to talk." "About what?" "About us, about our marriage, about what happens next." Derek's face brightened, hope, relief, the assumption that Claire was forgiving him, taking him back, believing his lies again. "I'm so glad you're ready to talk. I've been waiting, wanting to explain, wanting to make things right." "There's nothing to explain, nothing to make right, nothing to fix. It's over, Derek. Our marriage, us, everything." The brightness faded. replaced by anger, by shock, by disbelief that she was actually doing this, actually choosing herself, actually saying no. You can't be serious. I'm completely serious. Claire pulled the divorce papers from her bag. You're being served. I'm filing for divorce. Citing adultery, fraud, abandonment. Marcus is handling the case. He's going after you for identity theft, fraud, everything you've done to destroy my credit while protecting your own. Claire, wait. No, I'm done waiting. Done hoping. Done pretending that you'll change or that our marriage was ever real or that you actually love me. You used me, Derek. You married me for my credit. You destroyed my finances while protecting your own. You cheated on me while I carried your child. You abandoned me when I needed you most. You don't love me. You never did, and I'm done pretending otherwise. This is Jay, isn't it? He's poisoned you against me, turned you into someone you're not, made you think you're better than me. Jay saved our daughter's life. Jay showed up when you didn't. Jay has been more of a partner in 7 days than you've been in 3 years. But this isn't about Jay. This is about me, about choosing myself, about refusing to spend one more day married to a man who sees me as a financial resource instead of a person. You're making a mistake. The only mistake I made was marrying you. Everything else is correction, is healing, is becoming who I should have been all along if you hadn't convinced me to be smaller, quieter, less. You'll regret this. The only thing I regret is not doing it sooner. Derek's face went red, purple, rage barely contained. You think you can just leave? Just walk away? I'll fight this. I'll destroy you. I'll make sure you never see hope. You'll what? Fight for custody? You? The man who abandoned his daughter at the hospital? Who cheated on his wife during her pregnancy? Who accumulated $143,000 in debt using his wife's credit without her knowledge? Good luck with that. Marcus has documentation, evidence, proof of everything. You're done, Derek. Finished. And the only question is whether you accept it gracefully or whether you make this ugly and lose even more. I have rights. You have consequences. There's a difference. Wow. Marcus appeared in the doorway. Perfect timing, planned. Mrs. Walsh, we need to finish the paperwork. I'll be right there. Claire turned back to Derek. You're served. The papers outline everything. The divorce, the custody arrangement, the financial settlement. You have 30 days to respond. I suggest you hire a lawyer. You're going to need one. She walked away, left him standing there, alone, shocked, unable to comprehend that she'd actually done it, actually chosen herself, actually said no. Jay waited in the hallway, not interfering, not inserting himself, just available, present, there if she needed him. You okay? He asked. I'm perfect. Claire smiled, real, genuine. The first honest smile in 3 years. I'm free. 6 weeks passed, 6 weeks of NICU life, of learning to feed hope, change hope, care for hope, of becoming a mother while simultaneously ending a marriage and rebuilding a life. The divorce moved forward. Derek fought, hired lawyers, contested everything. But Marcus was better, sharper, more prepared. Every lie Derek told, Marcus had documentation to disprove. Every excuse, Marcus had evidence to refute. Derek was losing. Badly. The identity theft charges were filed. Police investigated, found evidence. Fraud charges followed it. Derek faced potential jail time. His mother, Patricia, was implicated, both facing consequences for systematic financial abuse. Claire moved into Jay's penthouse. Not his penthouse with him. His empty penthouse that he kept for business trips but rarely used. 3 bedrooms, modern kitchen, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, space, light, freedom. Vanessa visited daily. Beth stopped by after shifts. Claire's parents flew in from Florida. Stayed 2 weeks. Helped set up the nursery. Bought supplies. Provided support without judgment. Without I told you so. Just love. Just presence. Just family being family. Claire started applying for jobs, marketing director positions, consulting work, anything that used her skills while allowing flexibility for Hope. The gap in her resume concerned some companies. Others understood, valued experience over timing. She had 3 interviews scheduled, Hope beginning to emerge. Hope came home week 8, 4 pounds, 12 ounces. Still tiny but thriving. Fighting, winning. The doctors were amazed, called her a miracle baby. Claire knew better. Hope wasn't a miracle. Hope was a fighter, like her mother, like her namesake implied. Jay visited daily, brought supplies, offered support, never pushed, never pressured, just remained available. A friend, a support system, a man who loved her enough to let her heal before asking for more. You don't have to keep doing this, Claire said. Week 10, Hope's 2-month checkup. Jay had driven them, waited during the appointment, carried Hope to the car while Claire handled paperwork. Doing what? Being perfect, being patient, being everything I need without asking for anything back. I'm not perfect. I'm just present. There's a difference. You know what I mean? I do, and the answer is I want to keep doing this. Want to be here, want to watch Hope grow, want to see you rebuild, want to be part of your life in whatever capacity you'll allow. What if I'm never ready for more? What if friendship is all I can offer? Then friendship is enough. I'm not keeping score, Claire. I'm not waiting for payment. I'm not expecting a relationship as reward for being decent. I'm just being your friend, the person you call, the person who shows up. That's enough. Why? Because watching you rebuild is beautiful. Watching you remember who you are apart from Derek is inspiring. Watching you mother Hope with such love and dedication and fierce protection is everything I never knew I wanted to witness. Because being part of your life, even peripherally, is better than not being part of it at all. Because I love you. But more than that, I like you. I respect you. I admire you. And that's enough. More than enough. Claire wanted to kiss him, wanted to close the distance, wanted to let herself love again. But she was still healing, still processing, still figuring out who she was without a man defining her. Thank you, she said instead, for being patient, for not pushing, for letting me heal at my own pace. You're worth waiting for, Jay said. Simple, direct, true. However long it takes. 6 months later. Claire sat in her office, not Jay's penthouse anymore. Her apartment, small, but hers. 2 bedrooms, first floor unit with a small yard. Perfect for Hope when she started walking. Perfect for Claire, who needed independence more than luxury. Her marketing consulting business was growing. 3 clients, good work, flexible hours, income that wasn't huge but was enough. She was rebuilding. Slowly, steadily, surely. The divorce was final. Derek got supervised visitation. 1 hour per week. He'd missed 4 visits. Proved exactly who he'd always been. Patricia faced fraud charges, pled guilty, got probation and restitution. Derek faced charges too, still pending, looking at jail time. Claire felt nothing about it. No satisfaction, no revenge, just relief that it was over. Done. Behind her, Hope sat in her high chair, 6 months old, chubby, healthy, perfect, reaching for everything, laughing at silly faces, being exactly what babies should be, happy, loved, safe. Jay appeared in the doorway, weekly dinner tradition. He brought Thai food, her favorite, always remembered, always cared. Hey, he said, how was your day? Good, signed a new client, tech startup. They need a complete marketing strategy. It's a big project, good money, exactly what I need. That's amazing, congratulations. They ate together, Thai food from containers. Hope in her high chair making a mess of pureed carrots. Normal, domestic, comfortable. I've been thinking, Claire said, after dinner. After Hope was bathed and in pajamas. After the kitchen was clean and the day was winding down. About us, about what we are, about what we could be. Jay went still, careful, not pushing, just listening. I'm not saying I'm ready. I'm not saying I want to jump into a relationship, but I'm saying I'm thinking about possibility, about maybe eventually trying. What changed? Nothing, everything. I watched you this week, watched you show up for Hope's doctor appointment, for the parent-teacher conference at the daycare, for grocery shopping when I was overwhelmed, for all the tiny moments that matter. And I realized you've been showing me what real partnership looks like, what real love looks like, what showing up actually means. I just showed up. Exactly, that's what Derek never understood. Love isn't grand gestures. It's showing up, being present, choosing someone every single day, doing the boring parts, the hard parts, the unglamorous parts. That's love, real love. And you've been showing me that for 6 months without asking for anything back. Because I love you. Present tense. Still, always. I know, and I think that I'm ready to try loving you back. Not the way I loved you 8 years ago, not that young, naive, unrealistic love, but mature love, realistic love, partnership love, the kind of love that shows up, that chooses, that stays. Are you sure? No, I'm terrified. I'm scared I'll mess it up. Scared I'm too broken. Scared I'll hurt you. Scared of 1,000 things. But I'm also sure that being scared isn't a reason not to try. That healing doesn't mean being perfect. That I can rebuild my life and also let someone be part of it. That I can be Hope's mom and also be Claire. That I can have both, deserve both, want both. Jay moved closer, careful, respectful, asking with his eyes if this was okay. I need things to be slow, Claire said. I need time. I need to maintain my independence. I need to know I'm choosing you because I want to, not because I need to. Can you accept that? I can accept anything as long as it means getting to be part of your life. Slow is fine. Independence is good. Choice is everything. We do this your way, your pace, your terms. What if it doesn't work? What if we try and it fails? What if I realize I'm not ready? Then we figure it out. We adjust. We remain friends. We stay in each other's lives because hope will always connect us. We be adults who communicate instead of people who make assumptions and demands. Claire looked at him. This man who'd loved her first, who'd let her go, who'd come back, who'd saved her daughter, who'd supported her through divorce, who'd shown her what real partnership looked like by just being present, just showing up, just choosing her every single day. Okay, she said. Okay, let's try. Let's see where this goes. Let's be slow and careful and honest and real. Jay smiled. That's all I wanted. All I needed. Just a chance, just hope, just possibility. Hope. The word hung between them. Heavy with meaning. Hope for future. Hope for healing. Hope for love that was real and chosen and built on foundation of friendship instead of desperation. Hope stirred in her crib, making small sounds, not crying, just reminding them she existed, that she was here, that she was the reason Claire had found courage to leave, to rebuild, to choose better. I need to check on her, Claire said. I'll come with you. They walked together to Hope's nursery, pink walls, soft lights, pictures of family, of Vanessa and Beth, of Claire's parents, of Jay holding newborn Hope in the hospital. Already family before they'd even begun. Hope opened her eyes, blue, bright, full of future. She saw Claire, smiled, reached up with chubby arms, wanted her mother, needed her mother, loved her mother. Claire picked her up, held her, breathed in baby smell, felt the weight of her daughter, the life she'd created, the miracle she'd fought for, the hope that had saved them both. She has your smile, Jay said, standing beside them. Not touching, but present, always present. She has her own smile. She's her own person. Not me, not Derek, just Hope. Hope James Walsh, Jay said, soft, wondering. You gave her my name. I gave her the name of the man who saved her life, who showed up when her father didn't, who's been more of a father figure in 6 months than Derek has been ever. You earned that middle name, Jay. You earned being part of her life. I'd like to keep earning it every day for as long as you'll let me. Claire looked at him. This man, this good man. This man who'd loved her enough to let her go, to wait, to let her heal, to choose her own pace, her own terms, her own future. Then stay, she said. Stay and be part of our lives. Stay and let us be part of yours. Stay and see where this goes. Stay because we're choosing you, not because we need you, because we want you. There's a difference. There's all the difference, Jay agreed. Outside the window, the sun set. Orange, pink, purple. Beautiful because beauty existed even after crisis, even after emergency, even after everything had fallen apart and slowly rebuilt. Claire looked down at Hope, at her daughter who breathed and fought and survived despite everything, at the tiny human who'd given her reason to leave, to fight, to become. Starting over feels impossible, Claire whispered. The same words she'd said 6 months ago, but different now, changed, hopeful. But somehow I'm doing it anyway. Hope opened her eyes, blue, bright, full of future, full of life. Full of everything Claire had been too scared to hope for, but had found anyway. And for the first time in years, Claire felt something she'd forgotten existed. Hope, real hope, future hope. The kind of hope that said maybe, just maybe, everything would be okay. Better than okay. Good. Really, truly, finally, good. She'd chosen wrong once, chosen Derek over Jay, chosen comfort over connection, chosen presence over partnership. Those choices had cost her 3 years, her savings, her credit, her self-respect. But those choices had also given her hope, had taught her what real love looked like by showing her what it wasn't, had broken her down so she could rebuild stronger, better, more herself than she'd ever been. And now she was choosing again, choosing Jay, choosing herself, choosing possibility, choosing hope. The ending and the beginning looked the same, but they weren't. They were transformed, changed, better. Because Claire wasn't the woman who'd left Jay 8 years ago, wasn't the woman who'd married Derek, wasn't even the woman who'd begged in the hospital 6 months ago. She was someone new, someone stronger, someone who knew her worth, who set boundaries, who chose herself first so she could choose others second, who understood that real love required action, not just words. That partnership meant showing up. That family was built through choice and commitment, not just biology and tradition. She was Claire, mother, business owner, survivor, fighter, rebuilder, woman who'd fallen and gotten back up, who'd been broken and healed, who'd lost hope and found it again. She was enough, always had been, always would be. With or without a man, with or without anyone. Just herself was enough. But having Jay too, having partnership too, having love that was real and chosen and built on foundation of respect and friendship, that wasn't settling. That was choosing abundance. That was accepting that she could have independence and connection, self-sufficiency and support, strength and vulnerability. She could have all of it, deserved all of it, was building all of it, one day at a time, one choice at a time, one moment of hope at a time. And Hope, her daughter Hope, she'd grow up watching her mother rebuild, watching her mother choose herself, watching her mother demonstrate what real love looked like, what real partnership meant, what real strength was. Hope would never accept less, would never settle, would never marry a man who didn't show up, who didn't choose her, who didn't love her with action and not just words, because Hope would learn from her mother, from Vanessa, from Beth, from Jay, from everyone who'd shown up, who'd stayed, who'd chosen love over convenience, presence over performance, reality over illusion. Hope was the future, the promise, the proof that starting over wasn't just possible. It was necessary. It was growth. It was transformation. It was everything. And Claire? Claire was finally ready for everything, ready to love again, ready to trust again, ready to hope again, ready for the future she'd been building since the moment she called Jay from that hospital corridor, since the moment she chose herself over settling, since the moment she decided that survival wasn't enough, that she wanted living, thriving, becoming, ready for all of it, with hope in her aura, with Jay by her side, with her family surrounding her, with her future stretching ahead full of possibility and promise and hope. So much hope, always hope, forever hope. Hope.